Good evening. It's September the 14th, and since I started carnivore with the month of September, today is the end of day 14 of my 30-day carnivore trial. It's going very well. I'm very happy with it. I've found it really easy to do. As I had mentioned in a previous update, it's not terribly different from what I had done for 20 months or more on my ketogenic journey. I would like to emphasize right now that the most important thing I did throughout my journey, I'm about at 22 months now since I kind of turned my life and my diet and my health around. And the most important thing I did and continue to do is intermittent fasting. And for a good part of that time early on, I was doing one meal a day. Right now, I'm doing two meals a day, but I keep that in a pretty narrow eating window. I usually have about a 4 hour eating window, sometimes 6 hours, uh, but in that 4 to 6 hour range. Those are the only hours of the day that I eat. Um, Generally from 3:30 in the afternoon. I'll have my very first meal at 3:30 in the afternoon and then be done by 7:30 in the evening, and have nothing outside of those hours to eat. And that's honestly the most powerful thing that I have done in my journey to health. Now, going keto during the hours that I did eat was very important uh, in restoring my uh, A1C to a very normal level and losing like 80 pounds and all that. Eating keto was very important, but the most powerful thing, the number one thing, was intermittent fasting, and that still remains the case. Now I'm really enjoying carnivore for this 14 days, and one reason is um, it's real easy. Carnivore is a type of ketogenic diet. Uh, it's high fat, moderate protein, and very low or with carnivore, it's almost virtually no carbohydrates at all, which that I planned for that to be a part of my lifestyle for the rest of my life, to be low carb or zero carb, as close to, below 20 total carbs a day. I plan for that to be a part of my lifestyle for the rest of my life, um, because of all the health benefits that have gone along with that. And and that's one thing I'm loving about carnivore is to it's very easy to count carbs and to keep the carbs low on the carnivore diet because you're eating almost no carb. It could be, in fact, zero carbs uh, if you do it right and watch that you don't adulterate your meat with uh, any kind of spices or sauces or anything that have carbohydrates. So I've really been enjoying it, and it's been mainly meat and eggs. I've varied the type of meats uh, between pork and lamb and uh, beef. Probably more red meat than anything, uh, being steaks and hamburger patties, but lots of eggs. I love eggs, and eggs have been a very important part of my uh, journey previously when I was doing just regular keto. And then also during carnivore, eggs have been a very important part of it. I'll anywhere from 2 to 6 eggs per day, and it's been just a very important part of it. And again, I love eggs. Well, I was going to do a segment on eggs, on different eggs, and a comparison that I did, but I decided not to. I wanted to talk quite a bit about eggs in this video, but kind of decided against it because it can become very complicated. And I all along I've tried to keep my personal journey uncomplicated. And for people who watch this and want to follow a similar journey to what I've done, I don't want to make it real complicated. And for some reason, eggs happen to be one of those subjects that can be real complicated. In the past, in the past, the thing that was controversial with eggs was whether you should even eat them or not. Fortunately, most of us have gotten way past that. We're no longer afraid of it. I'm not afraid of eggs at all. In fact, I consider them a very healthy source of nutrition, and not afraid to eat them. I would eat as many a day as I could. I'm not afraid of it at all. The new complication that I'm running into is which kind of eggs should we eat? And I may eventually do a video on that, but I don't want to complicate it. When I if I think of people like my friend JR and others who are just starting a journey like this and think, man, if they get so deep in the weeds on these issues of some eggs are good, some eggs are not so good, um, it can be very discouraging, and you could just give up on all this. And that would be a big mistake, because no matter what kind of eggs you eat, no matter what kind of eggs you eat, it's better than many of the alternatives. It's certainly better than having donuts or cinnamon rolls or other types of pastries for breakfast. It's certainly better even than oatmeal, a bowl of oatmeal with fruit on it. Um, any kind of eggs are better than that as far as your blood sugar. If you're diabetic, any kind of eggs are better than that. Now, are some eggs better than others, or some more nutrition than others? Yes, that is true. But any kind of egg is better than breakfast cereal. Any kind of egg is better than bagels for in the morning. Any kind of egg is certainly better than any sort of sweets or pastries. It's even better than good old oatmeal that so many people think are healthy. Test your blood sugar an hour after eating oatmeal and test it an hour after eating only eggs, and see which one is better for a diabetic, regardless of what kind of eggs it is. Yes, some eggs are better. Yes, some chickens are treated better than others. Yes, yes, all these things. But do not overcomplicate this thing. Um, Staying low carb, with meat and eggs being a big part of that, is very, very powerful. If you have to do it on a budget, if you're very, very tight on your food budget, don't worry about what kind of eggs you get. Get the best ones that you can afford. And, I may do a separate video again telling you what the different ones are. I'm learning about it myself, to be honest. Um, I've always just looked for the one that has the darkest yolk um, and tastes the best, has the most flavor and all, but it can get very complicated, and I really don't want to go there, because I don't want to discourage people and make them think that it's more complicated than it is, because I promise you, any kind of egg is going to be better than donuts or cinnamon rolls or even a bowl of oatmeal. So don't be afraid of eggs. Eat them and get full on them and other fatty foods, fatty meats, and you can resist all those carbohydrates that almost killed you, almost killed me. So that's what it comes down to, is doing something that's sustainable, because if we make it too complicated, we won't be able to sustain it for the rest of our lives. And so um, carnivore is going very well for me. I didn't have any specific goals. I didn't need to lose any more weight. I don't want to lose any more weight. And I haven't. Well, I'm about 2 pounds less than I was 14 days ago, but my weight fluctuates 2 or 3 pounds all the time. So I don't know that carnivore had anything to do with it. And, I don't have anything outrageously good or bad at all to say about carnivore. In fact, the only thing I would say is that it's a very easy way to go low carb, and I plan to be low carb for the rest of my life. So at the end of 30 days, I just have to question, is carnivore going to be one of the tools that I use to stay low carb? Because I definitely plan to stay low carb for the rest of my life. So anyway, I'm going to end by saying live healthy and finish strong. And I'll be giving you more updates on how the 30-day trial of carnivore is going, probably about once a week. Again, thank you and good night.